All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Look, we are literally sitting in the middle of a massive shift right now. We've just experienced the simultaneous drops of two of the absolute most powerful AI models ever released to the public. I'm talking about Claude Opus 4.8 from Anthropic and GPT-5 from OpenAI. They dropped within weeks of each other, and if you've been anywhere near the internet lately, you know that everyone is just absolutely obsessed with pitting them against each other to pick a single winner. It's kind of like a heavyweight title fight where everyone is scrambling to place their bets. So, Claude Opus 4.8 versus GPT-5? Honestly, I'm going to stop you right there, because this is entirely the wrong question to be asking. If you're out there trying to figure out which one of these models you should exclusively use, you're already falling behind the curve. It's a total trap that just artificially limits what you can actually achieve. Because here's the thing, the people who are genuinely succeeding and pushing the boundaries right now, they aren't picking sides. They are building workflows. They're chaining these two incredibly capable models together into this untouchable power duo. Think of it like the difference between a master architect and an elite construction crew, right? One is a deep thinker mapping out the structural integrity, and the other is a fast mover laying the bricks at breakneck speed. When you harness both of them, your output becomes absolutely staggering. You essentially stop getting basic AI answers and start getting finished, high-level projects. To get you to that level, here is our roadmap. Number 1, the core breakdown. 2, the mental model. 3, the entrepreneur blueprint. 4, the student blueprint. And 5, an AI reality check.
Okay, section 1, the core breakdown, understanding the tools.
We need to clearly define what each model actually brings to the table, right? So we can leverage their native strengths without forcing them to do things they aren't built for. First up is Anthropic's flagship model, Claude Opus 4.8. This is the system you bring in when the stakes are high and the details really matter. It handles complex, multi-step, agentic workflows and massive context windows without losing the plot. You can hand it a highly technical 200-page document, ask it to find strategic holes, and it won't even flinch. Now, a totally fascinating feature here is effort control. This actually allows you to dial in the exact compute power needed for the task at hand. If you just need a light summary, you give it light effort. But if you need it to completely deconstruct, synthesize, and cross-reference a massive data set, you just crank it up to full compute. It gives you precise control over its reasoning depth. Then, on the other side of the equation, we have GPT-5. This is OpenAI's highly optimized engine, and it is built primarily for speed, rapid coding, and strict instruction following. And that instruction following part is incredibly vital here. When you're building automated scripts or complex coding pipelines, you need a model that won't just randomly deviate from your syntax or get, overly creative with the formatting. GPT-5 really shines at taking a clear, established goal and executing it with blinding speed and coherence. If you need to build out research pipelines, run Python scripts, or draft up a massive amount of structured content fast, this is your execution engine. It's basically like a highly capable collaborator who immediately understands your exact instructions and just runs with them. Moving to section 2, the mental model, teamwork over rivalry. The absolutely crucial point here is that we must stop treating these two systems as competitors. We need to lock in a completely new mental framework. Think of Claude Opus 4.8 as your deep thinking partner and GPT-5 as your fast execution engine. You use Claude to think better, to strategize, to find the flaws in your logic, and to analyze deep context. Then you use GPT-5 to move faster, to write the code, and to generate the final output. When you take the deeply refined strategy from Claude and hand it over to the fast, instruction-following execution of GPT-5, you push your work to a completely new tier. You're combining the highest IQ with the highest horsepower. All right, section 3, entrepreneur blueprint, the launch system. Let's get really tactical here. I want to walk you through a concrete, step-by-step workflow, showing you exactly how to use this mental model to validate and launch an AI education product from scratch. Step 1, you open GPT-5 and prompt it to generate 20 business opportunities in the AI education space, including customer problems and target users. Because it's an execution engine, it gives you that raw material instantly. Step 2 is where the magic happens. You take that massive list straight into Claude Opus 4.8. But you don't just paste it in. You prompt Claude strategically. You tell it, act as a cynical venture capitalist and tear these 20 ideas apart. Identify the top 3 fatal flaws for each, and then build a bulletproof go-to-market strategy for the 2 that actually survive. Claude uses its massive context window and deep reasoning to pressure test the concepts. It literally does the deep strategic thinking and risk analysis that would normally take a team of humans days to complete. Step 3. You take Claude's refined, cynical, bulletproof strategy and feed it back into GPT-5. You say, act as a senior copywriter. Using this exact strategy, execute the following. Write a high-converting landing page, a 5-email launch sequence, and a 30-day social media calendar. GPT-5 takes that perfect structure and churns out the final launch assets in seconds. Generate, analyze, execute. Boom. Now let's look at Section 4, Student Blueprint, the Learning Engine.
Let's apply this to a completely different field. This workflow builds a totally personalized learning cycle for incredibly complex topics, like, say, quantum physics or advanced organic chemistry. The core methodology remains exactly the same, but we're applying it to accelerated learning. Step 1. You have GPT-5 build a complete phase-by-phase learning roadmap for an absolute beginner. It gives you the high-level syllabus instantly. Step 2. You bring in Claude Opus 4.8. This is crucial because Claude is unmatched at handling massive, dense documents without losing track of information in the middle. You upload your specific, dense study materials. We're talking 100-page PDF textbooks, research paper excerpts, even your messy, disorganized class notes. You prompt Claude to map your highly specific textbook excerpts to the exact roadmap GPT-5 just built. And you ask it to explain the hardest concepts using analogies you actually understand. Claude essentially becomes a personalized tutor that has perfectly memorized your specific textbook. Then, step 3. Once Claude has deeply processed your materials and simplified the concepts, you take those clean summaries and have GPT-5 finish the job. You prompt GPT-5 to generate 20 questions, simulated midterms, flashcards, and grading rubrics based entirely on that custom Claude-refined study plan.
To put that into perspective, standard studying usually means spending 3 hours scattered across YouTube, Google, and heavy textbooks trying to make sense of disjointed information. But with this dual AI workflow, you achieve the exact same, if not vastly better results in 30 highly structured minutes. The incredible efficiency here comes from the AI doing the heavy lifting of structuring the data entirely around your own personal materials, leaving you to just focus on the actual learning and memorization. It is a real game changer.
Okay, Section 5, AI Reality Check, Limitations and Review.
It's super easy to get lost in the hype when we talk about these massive leaps in productivity. So let's bring the energy back down to earth to address the real-world technical limitations here. Both models have highly specific technical pitfalls you absolutely have to watch out for. Claude, precisely because it thinks so deeply and routes through complex reasoning pathways, can be noticeably slower on fast turnaround tasks where you just need a quick, simple draft. It's also highly prompt-dependent. Garbage instructions will still yield garbage results. GPT-5, on the other hand, is lightning fast but incredibly prone to overconfidence. It can generate outputs, especially code or complex data tables, that look structurally flawless and highly professional, but actually contain subtle, hallucinated technical errors. And because of these subtle hallucinations, using Claude's superior reasoning as a logic review layer for GPT-5's rapid output isn't just a nice-to-have, it is an absolutely essential part of a reliable workflow.
Which brings me to this. I need to be perfectly clear about this next point. The human review layer never goes away. If you are using these advanced workflows to produce real-world marketing materials, deploy code to a live server, make critical business decisions, or submit academic work, you must be the final editor. If you outsource your critical thinking entirely to AI, you are ultimately going to produce work that fails the reality test.
I really want to leave you with this philosophical takeaway. Use these tools as amplifiers, not autopilots. As these AI models get dramatically better at agentic tasks, meaning actually taking autonomous actions on your behalf, the industry debate around AI safety frameworks and autonomy limits is heating up rapidly. Anthropic and OpenAI are both actively navigating just how much autonomy is actually safe to release in the wild right now. But until that is fully resolved, your job is to stay firmly in the driver's seat. Use their massive computing power to amplify your own human intelligence, not to replace your judgment.
So, here is the question I want to leave you with today. What is the one project you are working on right now where this dual model workflow, using Claude for deep thought and GPT-5 for rapid execution, could fundamentally change your output? Think about it. And more importantly, go open both tabs and try it out today. And before you go, like, share, and subscribe, please, and drop a comment in comment box.